everyone, and welcome to today's live PMA learning event. On today's slate is the Modern PM Toolkit, Skills and AI Tools for Career Success, with our very special guest, 𝐀𝐻𝐸 𝘞𝐦. And I'm Ross Ayosa, founder of Product Management Advisor, or PMA Community, and I'll be your host for today's session. At PMA, our mission is to help product professionals succeed at their craft. And one way we strive to accomplish this is by sharing our knowledge and our experiences with each other. So I'm happy all of you were able to join for today's session. And I'm very excited that 𝘞𝐻𝐸 is here to share his knowledge and experience with us. Just before we begin, a few quick notes. The chat is open, so feel free to drop your questions at any time. Tatev, our marketing coordinator, will be collecting them, and we reserve time at the end for Q&A, in which 𝘞𝐻𝐸 will facilitate. And the event is being recorded, so we'll make sure it's available inside the PMA community and on our YouTube channel after today. And I'm thrilled to introduce our special guest, 𝘞𝐻𝐸. 𝘞𝐻𝐸, thank you for being with us today. 𝘞𝐻𝐸 has launched multiple successful products, co-founded the Product Management School with JetBrains and Yandex, and teaches human-computer interaction at Constructor University. His work blends product strategy, design thinking, and applied AI, and we're very excited to have 𝘞𝐻𝐸 with us today and to learn from his experience. And 𝘞𝐻𝐸, before we move on, is there anything I missed, anything that you would like to share about yourself in your own words? I think 𝘞𝐻𝐸 lost his mute.
Hey, can you try now?
Yes, now I'm muted. Thank you. Thank you, Ross, for this introduction. Yeah, I think you explained my experience really well, so thank you for that. I'm happy to join the session today. I prepared some useful and helpful stuff, so hopefully it will be very helpful. So we'll try to keep things very practical and aligned with the current industry state. So yeah, happy to be here.
Great. We're happy to have you. So just before we start, today's session, I think, is about bridging two worlds. It's the timeless skills and basic skills that every product manager needs to have, but also about the new AI-powered tools that can accelerate how we all learn and grow together and get better at our craft. So on today's roadmap, we've already done the welcome and introductions, but here's how we'll spend the next 45 minutes together. We'll start with an exploration of how AI is shaping product management and career development. 𝘞𝐻𝐸 will take us behind the scenes product map and how their AI tools help product managers identify skills, set goals, and grow faster. After that, we'll shift into a conversation on the skills and challenges that face the modern product manager today and beyond. And then we'll wrap up with a live Q&A. We're hoping that you send in your questions. We'll answer your questions. We'll follow that up with some career advice before we close out. All right, so if that sounds good, we'll get right into it. So 𝘞𝐻𝐸, let's start with product map itself. For those in our audience who may not be familiar with how your platform uses AI, what could you share about Product Map's AI tool? How it actually helps product managers identify their growth paths?
That's a very good question. So two very specific things that we've been working on. So if you will allow me, I'll share my screen very quickly, show you a few interfaces. So first of all, we did an assessment of product management skills. So how it works. You simply explain your experience. You can upload your LinkedIn profile, so it will be relevant to the LinkedIn audience. You can upload your CV or any other materials that provide your experience, like recommendation letters, certificates, or whatever you've got. So it takes about 20 seconds to analyze the information that you shared. It's not just ChatGPT, it's a system that we built based on the knowledge base that we've got under the hood of the product map. So what it does, it finds some relevant topics that could be helpful for you, and it builds personalized plan based on that and identifies the current level where you are. So that's basically how it looks like. It's my report, it's my LinkedIn profile, and it's my CV. It shows where I've got some good skills and good coverage and where I've got some gaps. So for example, here on the video, you see that I've got gaps in marketing, I've got gaps in people development where I obviously can push, and a clear explanation what each level means. You can compare yourself against different grades, like middle product manager, senior, or director, or C-level. And we built more than 1,000 assessments. So we already know some industry ranking. People been sharing their profiles on LinkedIn, their assessment results. And the detailed breakdown explains to you what actually you can, what actually your skill level means. And as soon as you completed the report, we built a growth plan based on the topics that we've got in the product map knowledge base. So that's the first place where we apply AI for product management. So we actually help to identify some areas where you can grow. And under the product map, we've got 50 product management topics, very high level. For some of them, we build an assistant that helps to practice this particular topic. So it's not only about, let's say, theoretical knowledge that we've got under the product map. So that's what we call the topic catalog. Different topics that we've got on the platform, they're all free. You can try that. Free version of assessment is always available for everyone. But that's a knowledge that we've got in the system, and this knowledge is required to identify your gaps. So that was one of the guides that we built on the prompt engineering. That's we'll also cover today. But the second part of the product map is very practical assistance. So imagine that now you don't have only the knowledge base, you also got very specific assistance linked with this material. So as an example, we did an update on the unit economics. We published our resource on that, and we put it as a knowledge, as a context of the assistant with our resources available on the platform. We did the same for the prompt engineering guide, product strategy guide that we built with Phil Hornby and Roman Pichler. And now it's not just a theoretical tool, right? It's also a very practical tool that helps you to do stuff. So like in this particular example, unit economics calculation or the product strategy. So you're not just reading the article from Phil and Roman, you are using that in your product work and day-to-day tasks in order to apply this knowledge for your product. And that's how you can put some additional context about your product in the product map AI and try different assistants for your cases. So currently we've got 6 of them. So for product cases, we've got product strategy, solution, design, data-driven decisions, product delivery, and team collaboration. We recently launched an assistant for startups and for personal growth, but they are on a very early phase, let's say, stages of their maturity. We're always looking forward for feedback from the community members. So That's available for everyone for free, and you can try and feedback to us. We will be very pleased to hear it on the voice of the community.
It's
yeah.
Yep, sorry about that. It's fascinating because I didn't realize product map. So in addition to helping with personal growth, personal career growth, it also helps product managers in their day-to-day manage their products, and that's great. Let me just break that down a little bit, just to go back to the career growth. So, can you go over again what inputs? So, from a product manager, and I'm coming on here, what inputs you need of me to help, build out a path?
Actually, let me share it live. It will be my profile. It will be the real, not the video pre-recorded. So let me do it right now. So I'll reshare my screen very quickly, and I'll guide you through different scenarios that we've got here. So yeah, you should be able to see my profile. That's live. It's my profile available for everyone. So yeah, we've got 3 types of projects available, as I said: personal growth, daily PM tasks, and startup copilot. So for the personal growth, we ask where you want to push more. And obviously we use the assessment and your current profile as a context for all future suggestions. So for example, I want to improve marketing and skills, and that's basically all what is required. Everything is optional. So maybe you've got very specific metrics or goals that you're setting for yourself, or maybe skill or capabilities that you want to improve. So for example, that for me it will be go to market TG skill. And yeah, I'll create the project. So that's a personal growth project. So as soon as I starting to the new chat, it allows me to start with some predefined values. We call it starters. So for example, maybe you want to start with a career strategy. And again, it will be a very simple conversation, but as soon as you provide more context about yourself, we find more resources in our platform. So as one of the examples for junior product managers and middle product managers, we suggest some resources that are available. So like our PM skills guide, the PM transition blueprint that we are working on right now. So that's something that system recommends to you. But I'm showing to you how it all starts. So that's the starting point. If you explain more about yourself, if you add more context about yourself, then this career coach helps you to find some relevant insights. So as an example, I use my info from profile and suggest options. That should work. I mean, sometimes you can be very straightforward and suggest for very specific needs. Okay, let's try. Yep. So, I mean, because it already knows about me, it knows my assistant and my current profile, it suggests me very specific steps. Maybe it works well for you, maybe it doesn't work well for you. But after that, it starts to add in more suggestions, suggesting resources, topics, and content that is available on the platform. So that's basically how it works, Ross. So if you want, I can show something else.
Yeah, no, I think that's cool. And so what was the so how did this come about? What problem did you see that made you feel that, this was something that could help? Was there a specific problem or something that was going on that gave you the idea to build this?
That's a very good question. So When we started product map, everything started with a big Figma map. Maybe you've seen it, maybe you're not. It's free. It's published in a Figma community. It has more than 2,000 users only from the Figma community. But we built a map which basically covers the high-level view of on the product management. And as soon as we went live, people started to ask us, so, okay, guys, it's maybe too much. It's very comprehensive and overwhelming. Can you suggest something personalized for myself, so which will help me to identify what actually I need to know from the product map? What topics would be more relevant to me? And that's why we started to work on the personalized growth plans and career coaching. It all works with the materials that we've got under the hood. And as soon as you explain more about yourself, as soon as you provide more context about yourself, now it starts to show you more resources and materials from the product map knowledge base. So basically, we're also bringing two worlds, as you said, theory and practice. So at the beginning, product map was knowledge base, but in order to keep things practical and allow users to get the personalized suggestions, we started to build the product map AI, which is the future direction for our team. And some content which was available at the beginning on the product map, we started to improve. We started to move on the platform and engaged with different contributors to the improvement of the content. So latest updates we did with Graham Reed on the product ops. So that's one of my favorite topics. I already marked it as a complete for myself. But the map is growing, so we are collecting knowledge from community members, and that's basically a fuel which is required for the assistants which are available on the platform.
And maybe I think you touched on this earlier too. So what are ways that PMs can use AI right now for like their everyday task, like research, synthesis, communication, perhaps? Can you show us some of that?
Yeah, so I don't want to show more on the product map. I want to share some thoughts that I prepared based on the structure of skills that are available on the product map. So let me reshare my screen and come back to a few slides that I prepared. So I also got a few live demos that I want to show a bit later. So
Yeah.
how I structured AI tools and skills. So I basically using the same skill structure that we've got in the product map. And there are a few areas where I think product managers can use AI and increase their skills. So first of all, I start with product. I use different tools. I don't like them all, but we being in touch with George from Zentric AI, it helps you to specify the product vision. So what it also helps you to do is to work out your solution design. So if you take the product discovery, so there are different areas where you can apply the AI and different tools. One of the areas is to analyze the information that is available from different sources, and obviously market research, deep research with the different LLMs. It's one of the options that you can use. But if you use different tools and combining this knowledge in one place, then you can start ideate and understand better what product you are building. So that's why I recommend Zentric here. So they very well define OKRs and understand what actually the product should be built and how it's linked with a high level business initiatives. So George, he's a great guy, so always listening for the feedback from the community. But the tool is growing, and they also help to write requirements and specific features for different roles like backend engineers, front-end engineers. This product area where you defining your high-level initiatives and how it drills down to very specific tasks, that's something where you can apply different tools. I suggest Zentric here, but I want to show you very different tools, and that's actually an area where you can learn more from your users. How we usually understand as product managers who are our customers and what their needs. We run interviews, we're trying to understand what user persona available. So we're trying to segment the market based on different attributes, quality attributes, quantity attributes. But what if I would say, I will tell you that there is a tool that can simulate that. And the tool is called Synthetic Users. So if you will allow me, I'll reshare my screen very quickly and show the tool itself. I'm a big fan of it because it actually, I built a report just before the call, and 1 second, so it should be live. The tool allows you to specify your target audience and what you want to learn from them. And what tool allows you to do so is basically the AI that plays different roles. So first of all, it defines different attributes and segment your users based on their attributes. So it generates you synthetic users. So that's why it's called syntheticuserscom. After that, you can see the list of questions that was generated for this audience. And based on the user profiles, based on the attributes and their behavior, you receive different questions. So different users provide you with the different insights. So I ask them, I ask synthetic users, so what are key challenges and problems in day-to-day tasks which are product managers facing, right? And now I see very very specific users and very specific behaviors and their answers. If you want, you can read the whole interview. It took like a couple of minutes to receive them, so you can explore the whole transcript. But I usually just use the executive summary because it takes less time to understand what the key insights from this report. And the executive summary provides some ideas, maybe some directions where you can improve and build your product. So this report allows you to find new directions in your product. So it doesn't mean that you don't need to do product discovery, but it's something which is cheap, fast, and actually free to use. So that's why I'm suggesting that. This executive summary has very valuable ideas if you provide a good question at the beginning. So sometimes it doesn't work well for very niche products in niche markets, but if it's a very well-known problem, that it summarizes very well different user problems. Okay, so in addition to that, I will share another tool. Maybe guys, you use different analytics tools. I don't know, Ross, what is the analytic tool for you, the best one, what you usually use?
Amplitude is one.
Amplitude was the best, 100%. But usually you use many of them. I never used a lot Microsoft Clarity, but it became my top one after the feature that I will show you now. So the feature itself analyzes the screen session with the full recording and builds the session insights summary based on the user's interaction. It's stored for 99 days, so you can always refer to the previously recorded sessions, but it allows you to understand very big sets of data, which is very helpful, I would say. So you don't need to run a lot of user interviews. You just analyze how people use your app. So I saved a recording, which was a few days ago. That's my personal user, so I don't want to share any personal information like our users and what they do. But that's an interaction very similar to how you saw my interaction with career coaching right now. So the whole session is recorded, so you can see how I interact with the user. I don't see a lot of inputs here, so again, it's for the security purposes, but the whole session is recorded. So obviously, when I completed some scenarios, I can jump to another part of the product map, to another chat, and that's my session, right? But what is helpful? The whole log has like you can access the whole log of all actions that I clicked here. So it's also saved in Amplitude, but Microsoft Clarity builds the session report, which is very similar to the usability reports that we used to write after some moderated sessions in a laboratory or in different environments. Here you can see the time codes. You can always jump to very specific time codes, and you can export these reports and understand them later. So if you want to build BI with the session insights, it's also available. So why I'm showing this to you, because AI can analyze tones of sessions that are coming to your website. I'm not sure that Microsoft Clarity works well with the mobile applications. It's mostly for web. I think it could work. I never tried. I use Amplitude, which is cross-platform application, but in the Microsoft Clarity, you can achieve the quality reports. So that's what I'm showing here. And again, if you've got many other sessions, you can always check the insights from them. So I just saved a few of them. So for example, that was a session from Daniel. He's our top contributor. Sometimes it glitches in terms of visualization, but again, you don't want to see all sessions and watch all recordings. All what you can get, the session insights. You can pull it automatically to your BI, and after that you can analyze later the feedback which is coming from the session insights. If you want, you can drill down to the session, watch the recording, but again, what is very helpful for us as a product managers to see the session insights. And again, it's done automatically based on the recorded session. Ross, have you ever heard about that? So what I'm showing, is it new for you?
Yeah, I mean, some of this is new. But I was curious, you mentioned security. What, like for PMs who want to be responsible, what are there guardrails that they need to be aware of in terms of data security, accuracy, data privacy, that type of thing? Or are there any built-in guardrails here to for PMs who want to work with this responsibly?
That's a very good question. So, I mean, I never will enable something which is not secure. So, what concerns could be here? Sometimes any user inputs, they could be hidden. So that's done automatically by Microsoft. So all credentials also hidden automatically if you put the right tag. So for example, you don't see an email, right? Because it's a personal information. You see a name and the surname. It's in our privacy policy. We collect this data, so that's why it could be used. So the first thing that you need to do is to specify a very good privacy policy and include data that you are collecting for the analytical purposes into your privacy policy. So when users sign up, they consent, they make a consent to the privacy policy, and that's why if you keep the information in the system, analytical system, it must be without the personal information. So that's why you see here the everywhere you see dots. Regarding the I don't know, any cyber attacks or that could happen, you can self-host it. So self-hosting helps to avoid all these issues. So usually if you manage the database and data by yourself, then you keep the security as your own risk. So if you do it well, then nothing bad should happen. So safety first, so I would say, and security also very important here.
So if someone is just starting out, starting to experiment with AI, or maybe they haven't started, they're thinking about starting, any quick recommendations on, what their first steps should be?
Yes, that's what I want to show you next. Actually, you're asking very good questions. So let me
Good.
go on.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so let me share my screen again very quickly. So my next suggestions for all PMs is to learn basics of the software engineering. I'm a software engineer. I've got a bachelor degree in the computer vision. I started my software engineer career more than 15 years ago. So for me, writing code is not something which is rocket science. So I do it the whole life. I suggest to start vibe coding at least and understanding what is written. So again, it's my personal experience, it's my background. I write code in PyCharm and Visual Code Studio, so I use them the whole life. But if you're a PM, you should at least know well how Git works, and you should understand what is written in terms of code. Because if you use AI for different processes, like in this particular example, role-specific task generation, you should understand better how different industries work. So, I mean, how different departments work. Quality assurance, design, backend, front-end, whatever technical members of your team present, then you always need to understand what actually they do, and usage of AI, starting with Git from my personal point of view. So again, I use Cursor a lot because it's easy. I mean, you can code which with the AI agents, it's easy, but you always need to understand what is the result, so how good it is. There are many tools like Lovable, v0.dev, and they allow you to build tools and you don't need to write code, which is absolutely fine. For the prototyping phase or MVP development, it's a great solution. But if you want to maintain your project, if you want to build your own assistants, what I will show you later, I think you should improve your software engineering skill. And that's what I want to show next, a little bit later, but as a very practical tip, I think you should use AI for organizing different processes and knowledge bases. I don't know exactly what our audience uses, so leave it in the chat or in the comments somewhere. Usually people use Atlassian tools or other tools like Linear, Notion, or whatever. Leave a comment somewhere in the chat what tools you use for your project management, let's call it like that. And it's not only product management, where you store the information. I'll show you some stuff right now with what actually Atlassian allows you to do, because usually people use Atlassian as a simple tool which basically everyone uses Atlassian. And I show you what, for example, Notion can do for you. I'll start with a Notion. Just give me a sec. What we did in the product map, again, as I told you, we want to know the feedback from users. We do interviews, we get some feedback on LinkedIn, so people reach out to us. So we store some materials and some feedbacks in the Notion, just because we like that. So we keep some information and feedback which is coming from our users. I hope that it's not a big deal that I'm showing it right now. But what actually you can do with tools? I mean, if you don't want to code, if you don't want to go with a technical, let's say, implementation, then you can leverage AI and use it in order to summarize things for you. So I mean, I did it just before the call because I want to start with something. So I asked my Notion AI, can you analyze that feedback after assistant testing? It was an alpha testing that we did with our core users, and provide me executive summary of key points. And you know, it's been 65 users in the alpha testing, and analyzed the results from all of them and build me a report which has the main information, top requests, and also like what people think about our assistant, which we launched like 2 months ago. Again, where it's coming from all pages, from different pages where we collected and stored the feedback. Sometimes it was collected automatically from the Microsoft Clarity, but the simple thing which doesn't require any implementation, technical implementation, is to start storing the information somewhere. So the next thing what we store a lot is prompts. So obviously, as soon as you've got all use cases covered, then you're starting to keep everything under the version control. Good news about Notion: if you don't know how Git works, it already have some sort of version control, so you can keep the history of changes, so you can access that, and if something changes, you can revert back. But what we put for ourselves is the set of prompts that we use for different cases, and examples, pre-filled examples for different use cases, like customer interviews and surveys, or goal setting, or care alignment, or road mapping, something that we use quite often. So storing and version control of your prompts is a very practical tip. And the one simple suggestion just before you start is organizing everything in the right format. I don't know exactly how you guys write your own prompts and how you made them. I mean, how you optimize them. There is a very good and simple suggestion from OpenAI and other LLMs how to write prompts. I mean, Ross, can I ask you a question as an audience, right? So, do you write and store your prompts somewhere? So, I mean, do you have a library of prompts as a knowledge base? How do you manage that?
Yeah, so I keep a library of prompts that I know I'm going to use again, and and I categorize them based on what area of the process they relate to. Um, and like you're pointing out, I think some prompts work better than others, right? So
Exactly.
you don't want to, waste time and use prompts that are not going to work for you. So if you find a prompt or you know of a prompt that does work because, someone, you got it from somewhere or you tried it and it gave you the results, you were happy with the results it gave you, then you want to make sure you keep that and you can reuse it. It's reusable when you need it without having to, reinvent the prompt.
Exactly.
But yeah, so to answer your question, I keep a library, a repository.
Repository of prompts. That's I hope it should be similar to something like what we've got here. Obviously, sometimes we organize them to different pages, but I want to show a tool which might be new for you. I mean, and for the rest of our viewers. It's called Prompt Optimizer. If you've seen it, if you've used that, it's a very great tool that allows you to roast your prompt. So it's basically it went live after the new ChatGPT 5 version, and the very great team explained the different formats of your prompts that work well. So some formats work with a markdown, some of them works with XML and JSON. But what this tool allows you to do, so it's in my bookmarks, I always use it like every day actually. It helps you to put your prompt here and request changes with explanation and reasoning under the hood of product OpenAI product. So obviously they use the guide that they built and made public. So that's something that actually worth reading. But when you run your prompt optimization, so it takes like 1 minute, but you can achieve much more predictable results, let's say like that. It's maybe a quality result, but maybe sometimes they are more stable because their insights that you can find from the prompt optimizer usually cover error cases if it's a prompt which is supposed to work with some sort of backend, or it's a structure that may be not very clear for the LLM, or maybe something else. So I just give you an example because I made a few analysis just before this call in order to prepare some specific examples. But yeah, let's wait a little bit, so it should be with us in seconds. Usually, even if you think that your prompt is correct and everything is good, the algorithm changes. So as soon as new version is live or some minor changes then been made to the model, then sometimes you need to run the optimizer again. So I mean, this particular prompt was done with GPT-4o a few months ago, and I know that yeah, it's not the ideal one, but it could be improved, and the way how it could be improved is here. So the reasoning is also always here, so it's explained. And again, it works like a simple version control system, so you can run more and more iterations if you want to continue improving that. But what it allows you to do is also cover error cases. So what was new for me, that sometimes I forget to cover some errors, and if I want this prompt working correctly, then it organizes for me very well. So that's why I always suggest to play with it. We did a very good assistant for ourselves. We published it in ChatGPT. It's called Product Map Writer. And after a few iterations with prompt optimizer, we built a very specific and big prompt explaining how we should write internally. So it's our internal writer that we use for requirements, for features. Sometimes we use it when we've got meeting notes and we want to provide some specific summary. But in order to keep the tone of voice of internal documents consistent, we build this prompt with a optimizer. So we use different sources, some prompts that been sharing across the internet, but prompt optimizer helps you to improve that, add additional cases, and because it's ChatGPT, it also knows very well what disadvantages, right? So you can leverage them, and you can ban very specific words as an example. So that's a suggestion that we received from the prompt optimizer.
That's good. I didn't, I wasn't aware of any of that. So I learned something today. I just want to be cautious of the time. I want to save time for Q&A. Is there anything else that you want to highlight
Yes, one
before
more
we
thing,
switch
please.
gears?
5
Yes.
minutes, but it will be the next level. So next level details. So even after that, you can go deeper with your prompts and you can make them conditional. So that's what I want to show next. Maybe you heard about the sorry, just trying to reshare my screen. Yeah, you should be able to see the cursor. Maybe you heard about 𝐴𝐻𝐸 format, but it's the next level of prompts that basically brings dynamic data into your prompt. A lot of people, they've been thinking how to implement the prompt that uses the previous context and result. So imagine, as an example, you build something and you want to improve that. We did it for our, again, internal purposes. We want to outline the list of widgets that are available on our platform. So it's basically a very specific output and schema that we use for the database. When we move some content from the Figma, we use MCP server that pulls the data from Figma, and now we want to convert it into the web version of the database that we've got. So we've got different types of widgets, and that's a prompt that explains how the assistant should work, but it has conditions. It has dynamic data that you can put here from the previous results. And even if you're not familiar with the code, you should be able to understand how it works. If previous content exists, then use it for the new generation, new content generation, and use it as a context. And if some previous attempt exists, then use them again for the next generation. So that's how you can run continuous improvements of your content, and your guidelines could be implemented for the multiple attempts. And how you can use that. So obviously it's not available if you're building your assistant without any technical implementation. But if you're writing Python code, so which is not very hard actually, if you use Cursor, you can wipe code it very quickly. You can create your assistant and use 𝐴𝐻𝐸 as a template where you put dynamic data. So if you run multiple attempts, then you do different ChatGPT calls, and after that, using the template, you can improve the results with multiple attempts, and that's how you can put dynamic data into your prompt. I'm sharing this very specific example, which is in our internal assistant that we built for ourselves, just because prompts now could be dynamic. They can use the context that you've got from the system. And if you want to build something complex, then you're not just optimizing your prompts and building your assistants. You're building system, and you're designing or engineering the way how your content should be integrated into the prompt. So 𝐴𝐻𝐸, it's a very specific format, which is kind of markdown, but it also has dynamic information that you can put here. So that's Ross. That was the last thing that I want to show today. So I think we can
Okay.
have a Q&A session or
Yeah.
we
So I
just
think that's all, incredibly, let's see, am I sharing yet?
not yet.
Okay, sorry. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's all incredibly, I'm sorry. I think that's all incredibly interesting, and I still believe that we have to keep focus on the human side of product management. A lot of technical there, but human side is as important. And tell me if you agree or not. But I think of AI tools as a high performing car. Let's say it's a Ferrari. The car can go incredibly fast, and you can go farther than ever before with it. But only if you understand the fundamentals of driving, right? And the rules of the road. Because without those basics, the very thing that's meant to accelerate your success can actually take you off course. So it's important to, you know, so I think it's important to understand and keep the basics and fundamentals of product management and leverage them when you start exploring and using the powerful tools of AI. What do you think about that?
100% agree. We always work with people, right? We always do things for people. So a lot of technical products available on the market, and for sure they are for technical people. But we at the product map, we've got 15 product management skills as an information that we use for assessment, and 5 pillars: product, customer, analytics, processes, and the fifth one, people. It's not the last from the importance point of view, right? So we always communicate with people. We facilitate cross-functional collaboration. Product managers, they are team leaders. They lead, they motivate the rest of the team. And what was my personal experience, I was the product manager who was also like a small CEO or mini CEO, because my responsibility was always broader. Sometimes it's financial part, sometimes HR and people development. You always think about that, because if you're small, let's say CEO, or if you've got a team of 40 people, then you always need to think how they can grow, how they can advance in their careers. And it's not only your own career as a product manager, you think about your team. And people, it's a very important aspect of the product management, because we work with people. And that's if we're talking about it internally, right? But we externally, we also talk, and we always listen to the feedback from your users, from the market, your competitors. It's all about people. Agree with you.
Right. Well, we covered a lot, from the power of AI tools and skill mapping to how it relates to the human side of the product. So we'd love to hear from our audience. Tatev, do you want to, have we received any questions, and do you want to facilitate that?
Hey, sure. So thanks for the great presentation. I will go ahead and read the questions that our audience sent. So first one is, the following. For someone newer to product management or just starting to explore AI tools, what's the best way to get hands-on experience with AI without feeling overwhelmed or out of their depth?
That's a very tough one. So a lot of tools now available on the market. My favorite question is to ask where you spend more time on. I mean, what is the task, the most time-consuming task that needs improvement and application of AI? So imagine that you do a lot of paperwork. So how much time you spend on that? Daily, weekly, monthly? If it's something that is very time consuming for you, if it's a task that you do quite often, and even if a junior or middle product manager is just starting, you already got some responsibilities. Start with automating them, so it helps you to improve the way how you perform. And after that, your career will start to progress. So you will find new tasks which will be again new time consuming for you. But try to analyze the time spent on different tasks and what is the most time consuming. It's the first thing that you need to start searching for a solution. Obviously, it depends on what you actually do.
Okay, great, thanks. So the next question is the following. As AI reshapes the product management landscape, what new skills or mindset will separate the great PMs from the good ones in the next few years?
Oof. Again, very good question. I prepared a slide about that. I just skipped that. But I think what is changing is now PMs are becoming more full stack product managers. What it means to me is that it's an end-to-end ownership starting from the strategy finishing to the delivery, and a lot of things like what actually happens in the small teams and startups. People previously they've been sharing responsibilities across different departments, and in bigger enterprises, PMs sharing very specific responsibilities with marketing, with the sales, with the development and engineering. But now the ownership is growing, and I see more and more PMs who are becoming like a full stack PM wearing many hats, and sometimes covering different tasks which they didn't supposed to cover. As an example, achieving some results with less resources becoming a new skill because you find a very creative solution. Sometimes you use AI for like synthetic user testing I showed to you, instead of recruiting and spending time on the real interviews, because resources are getting smaller, responsibilities are getting bigger. My personal feeling is that a lot of things like design collaboration and growth mindset now becoming more and more important, because that's areas where product managers previously been communicating or collaborating with, but now it's becoming a responsibility, and organizing some work like with the design process or marketing process. It could be a responsibility of the product manager in a small team, so up to 50 people startup. That's what I see, where I see the change.
Great. So, the next question is, what are some practical steps PMs can take to ensure the AI tools or products they are building are used responsibly, especially when it comes to bias, transparency, and the user trust?
Oof. Ross, maybe you can help me. I need to think a little bit. Very good question.
I'm an old-time product manager. So, I would say don't lose sight of your core basic product management skills. Don't rely 100% on the tool. Make sure it's accurate, and it's providing the information that you're looking to provide in a way that you're looking to present it. Because it's not always 100% accurate, or maybe it's painting the information in a way or a shade off from the intent of the message or the answer that you're looking for. I don't know. Does that make sense to you, Bryson? Nothing.
Absolutely. I was thinking about the similar metaphor. So, 5 or 10 years ago, the supervised machine learning they became very popular because you train how the system should work. And now I believe even if you work with AI, it helps you to do some tasks. But you are an expert, you should be an expert who can judge what AI did, who can optimize what AI did, or sometimes extend the results. So I still believe there is no AI that can do market research for you. Because even if you start using LLMs and different deep research engines, you've got very high level results, what is available on the internet. But what if you want to find some niche results? You need to go deeper, you need to dig deeper with your research. And that's, for example, what maybe I can do for you, because it provides you the let's say top level overview, but you need to go deeper. So even if you use AI, and I don't think it's no longer optional, you must use it, you still need to be a little bit more qualified than AI. So that's where you work with it as a partner, right? As a co-pilot.
How many more questions do we have? I'm just looking at the time.
If we have time, I can read one more and we can sum up.
All right, let's take one more.
So how can PMs demonstrate their AI fluency in interviews or resumes? What signals do hiring managers look for that shows someone truly understands AI in a product context?
Can I start? I've got very specific trigger. So if PM has a GitHub in their CV, it's already a plus. Because if you've got GitHub profile with a history of commits, it shows that you've got some software engineering skills. It doesn't prove that you are an AI guru, but still it shows that you're well familiar with software engineering and you know how systems work. And yeah, it's hard to demonstrate, so sometimes you just need to see how people use AI. But from my point of view, I always keep prompt engineering and use of AI closer to software engineering. That was at the beginning of my talk. Maybe Ross, you've got other triggers, but mine is a GitHub profile for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. I would just, though, be honest and be sincere, in the resume and the interview. Make sure you're expressing, yourself and your true skills. And I think everything will work out in the end as it should. All right, we're a little bit over time. I think what we'll do is we'll wrap this up. Let's just move. I want to let everyone know that we have an upcoming, our next event is coming up in November 11th. We'll be doing a session on hybridility. Hybridility is a blended method that takes agile, waterfall, lean, and customizes it for a specific organization on how they're managing their products development and what their objectives are. Hybridility was created by Rob Alexander. So Rob will be joining us in this session, and he'll be telling us all about it. So, be sure to look out for the registration, which should be coming out next week. You can keep an eye on it on our LinkedIn or in our PMA community. And finally, let's see. I'd like to thank 𝐏𝐬𝐧𝐬𝐿 for your presence and your sharing of your knowledge and your experience with AI. It's front and center these days. So I hope this was very helpful for everybody. If we didn't get a chance to answer your question, or if you have other questions, feel free to reach out to myself or 𝐏𝐬𝐧𝐬𝐿 on LinkedIn. We'd be happy to extend the conversation and make sure that all your questions are answered. Again, feel free to, check out PMA community, check out Product Map, and here's to building great products together. So thank you again for joining, and have a great day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.